Okay, good evening, good afternoon, good day. We are back again today, as promised in the last fortnight, that we shall be having a talk show on culture, our identity, our education, and everything that is connected with our social psychology. Well, of course, this is a new transformation we're trying to come up with. And we don't want to limit it only to the Sierra Leonean environment, because from research, it is clear that the West African sub-region has a lot of commonalities. And so therefore, if you're talking about culture, you cannot make it specific to a country. We have to look at the global picture of the West African sub-region, which is basically Fulani Malinke in bloodline. Today I have with me my Hemo. Hemo, as they say in Limba, is a title for somebody with respect. Mr. Yusuf Jallo, you are welcome, sir.
Yes, mfambule. Unakushe unakabo mwali bina nse bina mpiari seke bua njarama. Unakushe. And I'm glad for the answer again for make we talk again once more about culture. I think it's a very, very, very important part of we being, basically. So I'm very happy for the answer for we talk about that. Okay, and as we. I just want for just clear the whole air now. So first of all, fully we understand a few things. If anybody if take time for look at the bottom of the screen, una go already see the definition there we'll put of within culture mean or within tradition mean and so on. I hope say una go read that one day for get abreast with what you say, because many times people them when we talk about culture. If I were to ask the question, what is culture? Many people will automatically tell me about clothes and dance and food and automatically those are the things that people will begin to tell me about. But culture is a lot more than that. In fact, the things about clothes and dance or food, those are the offshoots. Those are just the little flowers of what culture really is. Culture itself, we're gonna go down to the branch, the trunk of the tree, and then we go down to the roots, and then we go down to the very seed, and then the soil itself. So, so if we use that very analogy, we are just don't get a small example there about the flower, the branches, then the trunk, and then the roots, then the seed, and then the soil. Now we begin to ask ourselves now, well, what influences what? So first, if we look at a plant, we will know for say, if the soil good, it will definitely bring more plants, them will grow. Now a soil way very, very fertile, way very rich. Soil like a then desert area where no get much nutrients. Una say this is a all thing drain as so sansan.
But accident is that and the show says snow can and Saudi. And you know, say fake news book online now.
Snow in Saudi, all right. Well, I'll tell you what. Well, I'll tell you what, yes. Because with this, let's ask ourselves that question. If snow falls in Saudi, now how will that affect the way Saudi people will behave and live their life from day to day?
That's why I brought it. Go ahead.
That's the crucial question we need to ask. So therefore, just like we're talking about the soil, therefore an environment affects how the seed will germinate and eventually how that seed will bear roots and then bring up the plant or the tree, as it were. Now, the same when we're talking of culture. The environment that we're in will determine how what we believe, and what we believe will determine what we tend to celebrate. And what we celebrate will also determine how we go about celebrating it. All these things are linked together.
So if I can ask a question, sir, if I can ask a question. Now you don't create a picture of a tree, how it grow from the seed to the tree. If we dey take the culture of a people, who's how you go put culture? Now the soil, now the seed.
The culture always, for me, they now the, if you want for put say the leaf them, one for say the flower, then of course the fruits. Now they made they put culture.
Okay.
Now, of course, we get the branches as well. Then we get the trees. But then branch, then they in my own view, then all the stem, they're all the come out from the tree trunk. Now, that tree trunk for me, that's about the custom stem, where we put the whole see, then custom also that then we believe, that then we hold on to. And then there's that central tree there. We also give central branches them, because each custom where you get, they will get also other offshoots them where they believe, but then custom, then they weigh plenty. Then all the leaf, then now where they come out, all the flower, then now where they come out, all the fruits that will come from there, that's now part of the culture and the things that we use to mark all the different customs that we have. Okay.
Okay.
So for me, that's how I look at culture. But I want us to go back down to the soil and then the seed itself. Let's go back down there.
Okay.
When we go down to the soil, depending on what the soil is like, depending on what our environment is like, we will adopt certain types of seeds. Certain seed will grow in sandy soil.
Yeah.
Certain seeds will grow in potopoto soil.
Yeah.
In other words, the environment will determine or sometimes influence what we end up believing. And our belief system is the seed. Our belief system is the seed that will eventually germinate and then sprout to bring out roots and a particular type of tree.
I see you are going to biology now. Because they create an ecosystem.
But then again, is the whole thing in an ecosystem,
Yes,
because the way we dey live,
yes, yes.
you see, the way
You
we
see
dey live,
why they talk? Now
Mhm.
that picture me they see.
Yes,
The leaf and every other thing, they give nutrients to the soil.
now a full cycle. It's a
Yes.
full cycle,
Yes.
because
The
now,
soil now, they give nutrients to what you call the belief.
yes,
So that's why I said you they go into biology now, they create an ecosystem. I want to let
eh,
you explain the ecosystem. Let we people let they listen, they understand this clearly.
right.
Because it's
So
very important.
yes, yes, a very very important, because now we know for say, look, a classic example, just this past rainy season, I send money na my farm, I plant granite, or make I say them plant granite for me, but
Mm.
at least na my farm. I know the attention where the people in my village pay for make sure say they find the right soil to put the groundnut seed, because they understood that it is not every soil that you'll go and put groundnut seed for it to grow. So they understood this. So the people in the village found the right soil, planted, and the groundnut. I mean, it was incredibly, it was a bounty harvest, let's put it that way, because the soil was right and the seed was planted again just at the right time. So now, same thing with the belief system. The belief system is the seed. When the environment determines that, when the environment determines what kind of seed that we put in there, we must therefore think very carefully what seed that we are putting. In other words, we must think very carefully what kind of belief system are we adopting around our environment. I'll give a classic example. Our environment in Sierra Leone is hot like something. Therefore, when we look at the kind of garments, the clothes that our people will wear, they wear loose clothing. In fact, many times somebody will
In
just wear.
some cases.
I'm coming there. I'm getting there. I am getting there. I am getting there. Now, so our people would usually back then would wear loose clothing
Yeah,
because it makes sense for that environment.
yeah,
But now, what have we done over the years? The European comes with his own clothes that is suited for his own environment. He comes with it to us. And what have we done? We have also taken that one and we're wearing that in our own very hot climate, including wearing all the shoes that we wear. Now, if any one of you, if you're honest with me, if you're honest with yourself, you will know that when you put on that suit, that necktie, and as Fela would say, you come cover all with your hat. You say you be gentleman. You go so far.
so
You
far.
go sweat.
You go sweat.
Yes. Is Fela say you go peace for body, you not go know. You know?
You know, you they come with illustrations them and examples where one we expand.
Mm-hmm.
Because we listeners then go see this as something strange and disconnected from what's in the happen.
Yeah.
While we connect them to we political economy.
My God.
The belief,
Okay.
the belief,
Okay.
the
All
belief.
right.
While you expand on the belief, let
Yes.
people then see the link with how we believe they make we not able develop with country because there is a
All right.
connection. There is a great
Okay.
connection.
Okay. Now I'll be one forget to this point, but not be the things I'm not be one forget the now. But since you don't ask, make a go there. So I'll go back to my granite.
Okay, come ahead. Go
So
ahead.
now you, Mr. Boy Jalo Jamboria, you don't born you pikin, you dey na Kamasogo Mapoti village, na dey you dey.
Okay.
Now you don't believe, say, you pikin, it gets for go na St. John's the Michael of Angels Primary School, na dey if for go get education for lay in life better. That belief you have now. And that belief is compounded every single day all around you by people who come with big cars whatsoever to say, if your child does not go to that school, your child will become a thief. If your child becomes a carpenter, your child will become a thief or a failure or whatsoever. So therefore, you as Mr. Jamboria, with your groundnut farm, you have your groundnut farm that you're growing. Now I come to you. I am Mr. Smythe Macaulay. And with my suit
I
and
will
my
take you
tie.
now, Koto.
Today I changed my name. But, but
Right.
I come to you now, Mr. Jamboria, with your granite farm. And I say to you, your child must come to my school that I teach at so that your child will be better, live a better life tomorrow. You give me your child. When that child comes to my school, you believe that child is coming to learn the best. The first thing I introduce that child to is a language that is strange to that child and has no bearing to a large extent to that child's culture, which is this language we call English
or French
or French
or Arabic.
or Arabic or Portuguese. All of a sudden, that child, your child, is now traumatized and feeling less of itself and begin to lack in confidence, especially if that child probably has, whether we might call it today, we say ADHD, attention deficit disorder, or maybe that child is dyslexic.
Yeah.
So dyslexia, for them one day we no make I explain what's that dyslexia. Dyslexia, now somebody way in brain, when you ask some question, in brain the work 10,000 times, it get boku multiple options in your head. As you ask her one question, you get boku multiple answers when they come in your head.
And
But
I'm suspecting I'm in that zone.
well, well, let me get it now. Because then when you ask the question, that child, he only gets one mouth, only one mouth for all these multiple answers
Yeah.
to come out of. So I want you to imagine, my people, a bottle of water, a bottle full of water, and you want the water to come out, and you suddenly turn it upside down. What happens? The water it's a bottleneck. The water literally, it kind of like it's choking even to come out. It doesn't come out fully. That is what happens to a dyslexic person. When you ask the question, a dyslexic child, literally, because there's so many options, sometimes says things and they're totally, they're not coordinated what that child might be saying, or what that person is saying, because there's so many different options. And that child, of course, or that person maybe have not learned how to coordinate everything very well. So what happens is when that person speaks, everything comes out and you think, what are they talking about? They seem to be all over the whole place. Sometimes it's just because there's too many options coming out. But then if you take that bottle, you pour the bottle slightly, gradually the water comes out.
Yeah.
Some people's brain work like that, who are able to pour that bottle gradually and everything comes out in a coherent manner. Whereas for the dyslexic person, that person needs a teacher we're able for sit down with that pikin day. He say, okay, tell what you want for say. Like you just everything out. You put them, then you organize the thoughts process properly so the child can see everything, organize it well, and understand, okay, this is the pattern. Then you begin to see it makes sense. So for
That's
me,
exactly the job I did in Norway in the school system. I was
you
a
see,
special needs teacher.
mhm, you see, and I work with a lot of children in schools with my storytelling. Many children I meet in school who are also dyslexic, and so I always have a way to explain to them how this story is going. This is why I speak the way I am speaking, like this, where I give certain emphasis on certain words, or give certain gestures, because it helps a dyslexic person to understand. And I repeat a lot because a dyslexic
Exactly. You have
person
to
would
repeat
like it
to them over and over. You
over
have
and
to have
over.
the patience to
Yes,
repeat, then you listen to their own side, you
yes,
repeat again.
correct. And once you do that, that when that child gets that, they are genius
Yeah.
because they are able to relate it to so many other areas because it's already there once they get it. Now, when this child, your child now from your granite farm, goes to this school and meets a maths teacher that does not have that patience, suddenly that child is called a fulumunku.
Let me come in. You've come to a point that is very important.
Mhm.
He meets a maths instructor
Yep.
who may have problems even with his own understanding of the tools that he has at his disposal to use.
Yes.
We had that problem, me and you, when we were going to school.
Yes, I did.
We had mathematics teachers who were not much in control of their resources. And so, whenever you come with something out of what he believes, there is a crisis. The reason is that is pointing to one thing again, we fit into this original example we give about environment and dress,
Beliefs.
etc.
Mm-hmm.
Beliefs. You see, we have a very bad belief about education and the teacher in Sierra Leone in particular. Everybody that can speak English, who has gone up to a particular grade in the educational system,
Mm-hmm.
can comfortably stand before a classroom and pretend to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a very dangerous thing we have been doing over decades.
Yes.
And it has been affecting our level of production of human resource.
Well, it is so, the way it's affecting us right now, it is what has led to, for the case of Sierra Leone, what recently we call this cotton tree PhD, or under the mango tree PhD. That's what led to that as well.
Yes, yes, yes,
You
yes.
see?
Quite right.
Now, um,
What
let,
yeah, I know let we disconnect them. I want let the listeners they understand, say, we beliefs now creates that condition because we believe say anybody who sabi talk English, with get a knowledge of a particular subject, is capable for teach.
well, okay. So if we come now, if we come to the granite farm
Mhm.
principle that
Yeah,
Mr. Jalo Jamboria at his granite farm, remember what he believed. The premise I said that where I said is that Mr. Jamboria don't believe say in
passing Peking
Peking.
go Western school,
Why? Until he go into that Western school,
they
that
not go
Peking day in
better.
life will never, it no go better. Now, so that belief system don't make Mr. Jamboria trust 150% that teacher will talk small this English language that he himself does not understand.
Yeah.
And
And so
and if
therefore, Mr. Jamboya go say, Uda sabi talk English na educated.
nine educates. So now we don't get the Peking, he don't go now at this school. Not only then they walk him backside in terms of whipping him, this child every day, because the child cannot speak this language and cannot
And then they
do,
traumatize them
of
by
course,
doing
and this child is not able to do a simple let me don't say simple, don't cannot I'm not able, it's not able to do certain arithmetics, or is not able to understand certain geographical terms or biological terms or physics or chemistry. This child is bamboozled by a whole different language. But let me tell you the other partner that is also happening at the same time.
Mhm.
This child goes to this school, suddenly begins to learn to speak this language called English. When when I am teaching the child in the school, me, Mr. Smythe Macaulay, when I'm teaching this child, I teach the child about Snow White. I teach the child about Wuthering Heights and Emily Bronte. I teach the child about all of those, and then that child
Then you
goes
tell the
home.
child about summer,
I
not
tell you
rainy
exactly.
season.
Of course, we're going to summer school in in rainy season. So that child goes home to you now. When the child goes home to you, the child is alienated from what you're doing every day. In fact, when you call that child for say, "Logo na Ganat farm," that child is upset. By the time the child you picking, they go now into secondary school. When the child goes into secondary school now, you that child holds on to this pen and book and tiny book and say, "This is my salvation." The child goes there and now is learning a little bit of Latin as well, and is getting these grades that they say that is what it is. That is what's going to make you this child's life better. Now the child might go to a secondary school that is even further away from its own
Or a
culture,
boarding school.
from his own home, or a
Or
boarding
a
home.
boarding school.
Now, that child goes there. Now, whenever that child comes home to you, Mr. Jalo Jambore of the Granite Farm, that child, if you're not careful, that child does not even want to eat granite anymore. does not
Sure.
want to eat groundnuts anymore.
Sure.
They now want to eat sardine,
Yeah.
and they want to eat the tinned food because that's the cultural orientation that they are now aspiring towards.
Sardine,
Because,
lobster meat.
right, you see, now, when that child has adopted all of that, and now, if that child is lucky enough to go into university, because many drop off along the way, as we all know, but let's say that child goes to university. When he goes there, he goes to learn something again, usually that bears no bearing
They
to
go and
your
tell him
granite
about
farm.
Aristotle, the Marculus, and others.
Right.
Then he gets more confused.
It gets more confused because that child is no longer quoting Lamina Sanko when he said, when Lamina Sanko said, Piki we were wearing papa into consist na hope go down in ways. That quotation does not make no sense.
That no longer makes sense to him.
It is not book. That's all cable business. You understand? So that child is no longer looking at those. That child is now quoting someone else within another culture. Of course, we all know this, that the trajectory, the way forward for that Pikinde now is to go abroad to America, where now you go and find.
The child has already been mentally colonized.
Fine. So now that started from the belief that only when this child go, okay. So now when that Pikinde, that child now finish university wherever they may have, question, do you think that child comes back to in papa in house, to your house in the granite farm?
He doesn't even believe in the ground not growing anymore.
Fine.
So that's why we are not feeding ourselves.
I'm coming now to that. I'm coming now to that. Do you see my point? So now let us contrast that now to another child. Now I meet Sorel Soiree. Sorel Soiree, I meet Mr. Sorel Soiree. I say, your child should come to my school. And Sorel Soiree give me his child and says, let my child come to your school. So now the child comes to my school. The first thing I do when he comes to my school, I open the geography map of Sierra Leone. And then I take the granates that you grow, that Mr. Sorel Soiree grows in his own farm. I take that granite rather, and I put it right in the middle of the book. And I say, where do we grow groundnut in Sierra Leone? All of a sudden, myself and those children were now looking, it grows in Matutuka, it grows in Makeni, it grows in this place, and it grows in this place. We are now looking at geography already just with granates.
Yeah.
Now, but it does not grow in Banff. Why? It does not grow in this place. Why? It does not grow down at the Lumley Beach. Why? Maybe because of the soil composition. Yeah. Now we're beginning to examine what are the differences between the soil composition in Banff, in Lumley Beach, in Makeni. We're looking at the differences, all with granates. So we're looking at geography and some aspects of agriculture even, but commodity. Now we want to produce 20 bushels of groundnuts this coming harvest. What now do we need to do? What is the average piece of land that we need to get? How high should the groundnut grow before we can say we're getting good yield? How many bushels do you think we should actually plant for the groundnut for us to get that amount of groundnut and so on? We're looking at mathematics already.
And you are beginning to teach the child to be research oriented.
Absolutely. Now, by the time you leave that one, we now say, hey, wait a minute, how much does groundnut sell? Where can we, or what time of the year can we sell groundnut where we can make more profit? Okay. I see.
Economics.
Now we're going into economics now. But now we also begin to think, well, wait a minute, well, what are this ground, how do we protect it so that it does not get infected with bugs and all those other kind of stuff? Now we begin to check the environment where the groundnut is, where
Talk
it will grow healthy.
environment, talk logistics, talk handling.
Absolutely. All of these things we're now discussing here now. Well, when you cham granite
Did you have
plenty,
that time? Did you have that chance when you were going to school?
absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. Now, when you are chewing groundnut plenty, it gives you rumbele. Your stomach, you start going to the toilet a lot. And if you do, you go to the toilet a lot, it simply means that something is making in that groundnut that makes you go to the toilet. We're going into
Now
biology.
you're going into now medical sciences, I may say,
Medical science you're getting into. You see, you're going
or
into medical science.
biochemistry.
So what I'm saying is that by the time that child finishes primary school, they have already learned so many different practical things. Now, by the time it goes to
You see,
secondary
I
school,
don't want to let you hold on. They small before they go to the secondary school.
okay, please.
You see, I asked you a question before
Mhm.
on this mathematics teacher.
Yes.
Now you don't come with this practical example of the groundnut, how you go use them for teach the picking various things about the environment, where relate to
Mhm.
different subject areas where possibly the picking then can build and talent towards.
Yes.
You see, what you they do so, you they do an analysis
Yes.
of how we curriculum they and why we curriculum not they help we for develop.
Yep.
If we get a curriculum where they use local materials
Yep.
and local illustrations and instances for
Mhm.
make we begin them belief system grow into an education that is development friendly, we would have had less thieves in society and more innovation.
Mhm.
But that system, oh, they go where that cap. We'll talk about summer school. At the end of the day, when you don't learn all things, you find out say you don't get the ability for produce. When they give you a job, what you they do? Not for thief.
Absolutely innovative.
So go ahead, sir. You know, the
Now.
program has to be practical for many people and see. Say not a culture we they can't talk in theory, but they
Mhm.
can't talk about how we beliefs they shape
Mhm.
how we society they become.
Precisely.
Go ahead, sir.
So now by the time that pikin they don't go secondary school now, when they come out secondary school for camp, they now can engage Mr. Sorrel Soare. They can engage and I say, Papa Soare, let's go to the farm. How did you do the groundnuts? Now, what happens now is Papa Soare now is now engaging his own child
With
in
the own
what he is
level of
doing.
technology,
Right.
then the
You
picking
see,
because he don't get a newer perspective from a belief,
perspective.
they take that technology to the next level.
Exactly. You see, because now the Peking don't understand for say, Papa, them bug them. All those bugs that were eating your groundnut, I understand why they were eating your groundnut. Maybe we need to shift it to another area here.
Or we
You
need
see,
for use this kind of infrastructure. Now build
yes,
this kind, build the old, they suspend them. We create this
yes,
condition for me the bug no claim so that the granite
precisely.
bug no go eat them.
Go be safe. You see, this is now what I've always called education within the context of your culture
Or your needs.
or your needs. Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Your culture, your needs. That's correct. Absolutely correct. Because now that is when they're picking the reach secondary school. And it could be on any angle you wish to take it. We can leave granite, we could take our country cloth.
Yeah.
With our country cloth, we could teach mathematics, We could teach history. We can teach geography. We
You
can
go
teach
teach
everything.
economics.
Economics, just using the country cloth,
You go even
right at
teach
the center.
international trade.
Absolutely. Because that granite, that child will now begin to ask the question, who are the comparative people around the world who are also growing groundnuts? Who are the competitors? How much are they selling it for? What type of groundnut are they growing?
What
But
in our
also,
chance for make we compete with them?
now, then, when we begin to think what our chances now we bring the other children who are now artists. Because now when you bring those who are artists, they know how to design and package that groundnut. Those who are doing some kind of engineering or those kind of things would know how to go about to make the necessary bottle or packaging that the groundnut will be into. And those who know how to beat their bata and sing and dance are the one who will take that
They
groundnut
will
and say,
go to
hey,
BBC and CNN and talk about
yes,
SaLone granite.
this granite final, eh, yeah, yeah, to yeah, yeah, to yeah, this granite final. Eh. If you eat this granite, it will make you ear grow. If you eat this granite, it will make you eye. That's the artist. So basically, what these children now are learning is how to connect
The chain
all of this.
process.
Right, everything is connected. So now, let us say these two children that I've just mentioned here, one that has gone to America and all these places and studied, come back. When that child comes back, so many times as we have seen in our country, that child does not seek to implement policies that will benefit its own father's groundnut farm, because the orientation it's got is one that is outside the context of its own cultural needs.
Well, I want you to
Now,
hold it there. You know, I say I want for make you hold on there.
mm,
We have seen Nigerians and Ghanaians,
mhm,
Guineans, and some other nationals,
mhm,
Senegalese, come to Europe and America.
mhm.
They go back home and build on their local resources.
Correct.
So the question is it that these people are thinking different, or is it that the original education where them been get, which shape them belief, now in they influence their ability for go back home and do what thing for do?
I think that's a very good question. I will start by saying sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself.
Okay,
And I will say it's in your darkness that you see your light.
okay.
Um, because we're going through right now a kind of like a renaissance of an awakening, reawakening to the culture. Remember, when Fela Kuti was around, that man, they beat his nyash like nobody's
I know he
business.
went to prison every 2 days. The man was in prison every 2 days of his lifetime.
But, but Fela did a song. It's called Suffering and Smiling. He says, suffer, suffer for all, amen. Enjoy for heaven, amen.
And
Muslims
the
will be
boys are
love,
using
amen.
it now in their Afrobeat. And
Right.
he was the father of Afrobeat, although he got it from a Sierra Leonean, Gerald Park.
Yes. But you see, Fela did this song. He says, suffer, 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 suffer for all. Now your fault be that. Me, I say, now your fault be that. Now, what is he saying here? That us Africans, our suffering is almost self-inflicted.
And that's a fact.
Right.
That's a
So,
fact. I subscribe to that. Only that
yeah,
this is not what we are discussing today.
yes.
We will
Now,
come to that on this
on
same
further
program.
discussion, yeah, we'll come to that on a much further discussion in other
That's the
episodes.
fact.
So, because we have built or we have already adopted a belief system that
Yeah.
says that our sense of grandeur is from without, not from within. You know, you all, many of you who follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you know I've got my normal hashtag know thyself. It is so important because You know, there's a quote in the book of Thomas, Gospel of Thomas. It says, when you know yourself, you will be known. Then you will know you are the Son of God. I'll repeat.
I think that saying is across all religious scriptures, but it
Totally.
is said in different ways.
Yes, I agree with that. So you
I
see,
cannot give all the quotations, but I have read in the Quran
mhm.
something that similarly says you are here to be aware of who you are and serve God.
Now, so if we take that now to the examining the belief systems that we have developed as African people, as Sierra Leonean people,
Mm.
when we don't develop a belief system that does not engage with our very root self, it means what we are doing is we are grafting ourselves.
And if
Now,
I can ask you to hold it there, let us ask a question.
mhm,
Is our belief system actually what we are, or is it a foreign system that we have injected
so
into
so
making us
let me
something?
so let me expand, let me explain that now. I
Yes.
just said what we have done, we have grafted ourselves. So
You are using the agriculture term now, grafting.
I'm still there. I have not
Get
left
get
that one at
coconut
all.
and another tick for be together.
Right.
Right.
So I not left the agriculture thing. We shall hold that one this from beginning. Teninang.
Right.
Now, so if you take mango tree, you graft them inside okrotik. Now, when I say graft, for some, if somebody may not understand, and I'm not believing nobody who's listening to this program, but I like to explain everything,
Go ahead.
in as much as I can. For graft, it means you take one branch, you put them on something else when not to a natural growth base that one day. The natural growth base, now if you take mango tick, you put them on mango tick.
Yeah.
But when you take mango tick, you put them on okra, you de graft them, now join them. Something we naturally do not do together. So you just join them. Now, that mango tick branch go only grow as big as that okra plant allow them for grow.
Exactly.
Why? Because the okra is rooted. All things they come out from that okra your root. So that okra there, it go feed himself first before it feed the mango tick. And if it feed that mango branch there, guess what? It most likely not go feed that mango branch there the proper nutrient where the mango branch need for make it grow.
That's the one side. The other side is the okra, therefore protecting your own survival.
Absolutely. Now
If
make
you
it
go
the feed
pick
himself
mango
first.
the thick branch can grow taller than them. The weight they abandon, you die.
That's correct.
There's natural protection in every living thing.
So
In
that one
every
day,
system, there is natural protection.
so we call that self-preservation.
Yes.
Now, and you see, you they bring the things them forward way I can want for take and step by step as we dey go by this way. So you dey run too much. You speed, you,
Similar teacher lemp.
you speed high. Now, so now we've taken the first child that comes back, and the Kamfokai say, Una all within my village, una all kebu, una no sabi nothing. Now me we don't carry with me book, na me sabi. And it gets worse because then one day within the village also believe that because this child has gone England, America, Germany, and comes back and speaks this language, that child now knows so much. And they are all
And they
looking
call
to
him
say,
son of
come,
the soil.
yes, to say,
The
come
one
and lead
who be
us.
left, they not to son of the soil.
And one who live those are astray. Those are astray Okuru children. So this one that has come now, that's this, that's the one. So now, what tends to happen is that this returnee child usually that comes is he in himself cannot save himself from himself. So what he ends up doing in many cases is just abuse the privileges because he thinks these people don't know what he knows. Now,
One,
hang on. I'm coming.
two.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on.
I will carry the
Now,
third point.
then if we take that now into the politics, we can now see that the political systems that we have set up, the economic systems that we have set up, and at systems, in fact, when we look at the most of the administrative setups that we have put up for ourselves in Sierra Leone particularly, we begin to find out that if you take anybody, in fact, I would say 90% of people probably in Sierra Leone, if you put them in any of those administrations, they are lost like anything. Me sitting down here, if you put me in most of our administrative bodies within Sierra Leone, I am lost. Why? Because these are systems that usually have no bearing to our own cultural context. And the systems themselves have not been adapted enough, whether it's the language or how the system is organized, it's not been adapted enough for it to make sense to our everyday people. And that's very, very, very important.
There is
now,
a disconnect.
Big disconnect.
There's always been a disconnect, my brother.
Okay. So now I want you to understand.
To now.
So now we want to see now that one who has gone and learned this book and has got this education is now in a position where he knows something that many of his own people do not necessarily know, and more so dealing with wealth, finance that these people most of the time do not necessarily deal with. And he now feels he can do whatever he wants and nobody will call him to account because they do not know how to read what he can read.
And please hold it there. It was good you said I should not jump the gun. But the point is...
And I've still got to come to the second child. I've got to come to the second child.
Yes, the other side. This same man, because he has control of wealth or resources, if we can put it that way, and he is looked up to as the most educated person, the son of the soil. Whereas in contemporaries, they all go together, they look up to them. So then they transfer all the protection needs, social safety net needs to that person. That's where corruption comes in.
Of course.
So that's why I always say there are no bad Sierra Leoneans, but our system is so bad it creates everybody to be a bad person.
Now, let me extend a little bit what you just said.
Right, sir.
That man or woman who is now the bookman, who supposedly now learn it, when they come, what do our people do? Our people, again, because of the belief
that's it,
that this is our savior, they go and they heap all their woes and their troubles on this one person.
Yeah. That one person, instead they receive salary, instead get limit. Now instead be halting, so now for total the problem.
Right. So all of a sudden, it's like our people have seen this child as the savior, and that savior mentality is paralytic. It paralyzes with people then.
Well, it's human. Actually, the mentality of looking up to a savior is human. The only thing is, it is overdone in Sierra Leone.
Okay, but well,
it's human.
Yes,
otherwise, religion not be forget a place on earth.
Fine, but here now, if we go down that road,
if mortal man not be they look to a savior, religion not they get place on earth, and religion is global.
Okay, But then you see, now another belief system than the back again.
Yes.
We and no one go there. Your term go can
Now,
we
I
go
just
dumb
now
that
just
go
hang
there.
on there. Go ahead.
No, just
Not,
hang and so
not
forth.
change your thought
Because
processes.
because now, like I said, the people now who just don't believe say this we picking we don't come. Now in not the savior, now in they can't save we. So they hip a lot, and of course, in ego, in the booster picking the in ego, where they lead to corruption, where they lead to abuse of power, where they lead to a whole host of different stuff. But now let me take the second picking. The second child, now, after having learned the way it has learned about the granite, how granite link to geography, how granite link to economics, and so on. When that child becomes a lawyer, for example, that child will now begin to seek for laws that will most likely protect the granite farmer.
The land
Because,
ownership rights of the granite.
right, that child understands deeply the importance of granite to the social structure, to the economic structure, right down to family structure, because the child don't grow up understanding within granite mean na every single angle.
Yeah.
If that child becomes a doctor, that child, because they become a doctor, having grown from the soil like that, also go understand certain ways we for heal the people them, because of certain practices that what the people then get, because sickness usually will come from what you they eat and so on. So that child begin to understand the nutritional value of certain types of food, or maybe even the dangers of certain types of food when over consumed. When he become a doctor, if that child become a politician, goes into parliament, again, that child will seek to make sure they will advocate for better living standards for certain farmers and for protect the granite farmer, as they do na England, as they do na America and
And
Germany,
more in Norway.
right? Where they give
Norway has a
subsidies,
very strong cooperative society, then gets a
right?
farmers' party where they
Right?
protect the rights of farmers.
Of farmers. Who say we get that in Sierra Leone? We not get that in Sierra Leone. And that's because we don't develop a belief system.
And that
We
belief
say,
system, now they carry go for go ask for investors in Malaysia and other places.
simple, you don't pull and come on a memot. Now you make what they want for go Malaysia, for go
We have
foreigners.
everything in Sierra Leone.
Right.
Everything is there.
It's as simple as that. Now that's make we the go there. We, until we begin for recalibrate we belief system, what do we believe about we self. Now, fumble them. Um, Let me just rewind a little bit, because I've said a lot now, and sometimes it might be a little bit overwhelming for just to take in. And I don't want us to lose track with what I'm saying here. We start with the belief system, but that belief system there is triggered by an environment.
Yeah.
Okay. Then from there, you believe now, you need to check what your belief is. Does your belief suit the environment that you are in? Let's ask ourselves, therefore, as Sierra Leoneans, does what we believe now, outside the entire cow na day they eat, does that suit our environment? Is that making us prosperous as a nation? If we believe systems say Prince of Wales Secondary School, where me go, St. Edward Secondary School, where me go, they are the best schools in our country. Let we ask ourselves, what has been the production from Annie Walsh, from St. Joseph Convent? What has been the production of all of these schools where we hold as the biggest, the highest, the most wonderful schools in the entire? And I even dare say, even some of the international schools that we get, and all of those many private schools that we get. We need to begin to ask the questions very seriously. What will these schools produce of these children as they become adults? It's a crucial question for us to ask, because we need to look at the end in mind, need to get the end in mind. Then we begin to walk backwards for begin to determine How do we want these children to believe?
Now you
What
are
do we want
talking.
them to do?
Now you are talking educational planning.
Precisely. We need to look at it. Now, okay, so now, then we go to ask ourselves, how do we want to live in Sierra Leone? Do we want to live in a place where if you want groundnuts, you don't have to scratch your head? There's a variety type of groundnuts. If you want rice, you don't have to scratch your head. There's a variety. If you want to buy clothing, there's a variety of your own traditional clothing that is made in your own place. And you're not worried about the tailor, and the tailors are good. They are professionals in what they're doing. What kind of society do we want? Based on that, based on what it is we say we want, we're going to have to walk backwards and begin to look at what are we believing. Because if we
Talking about
believe that,
talking about
unless I'm coming,
clothing.
sir, I'm coming, sir. If we believe that it is when you wear a suit and a necktie, that is when you are civilized, that is when you're educated, or when you eat with fork and knife, that is when you're educated, then we are going to continue to do this one thing. We are going to continue to spend our resources, our money abroad, because we don't even manufacture the spoons. We don't manufacture those neckties
We
and
are going to
suits.
continue to be importers, not exporters.
Precisely. So the belief needs to be readdressed. Nothing wrong with wearing a suit and a tie, by the way. But
Yeah.
if we're going to, I would like to see a Ronco suit and tie.
Like the
Why not?
Ghanaians are making the kente suit now.
Kente. Kente is
Yeah.
now internationally known.
Yeah.
So I think Sierra Leoneans, we need to begin to rethink. And there are many, many, many different things, with our belief system that we need to begin to look at and address so that our education system can develop in a way where it improves our way of life. In other words, it improves our culture. For example, if we are going to bring in any kind of technology into Sierra Leone, and that technology is glorifying a Chinese a Chinese way of life. There we go. There's the kente cloth. Look at that wonderful style there.
Yeah.
If we are going to bring in, okay, let's take the suit and the tie. Let me stick with the suit and the tie.
Many examples are there.
There's so many. If we're going to bring the suit and the tie and we'll wear it in spite of our own materials, then we're going to have problems. I'll suggest that when a technology comes in, that technology should be used to enhance our own way of life, our own indigenous way of life, not
We can
for it
make
to
the
come.
Ronco into a coat.
Why not?
Yes.
Look, yesterday I was thinking of
We
it
can make it
because,
into a coat, and a decent one for that matter.
look here, in my for my trip to going abroad, like next year they're calling me to go to Mexico and not Mexico,
India.
Argentina and Chile.
Mhm.
Now, to go to Argentina and Chile, I'm now thinking when I go to Sierra Leone, I want to redesign a lovely ronco mixed with the Mende
Yes, because
traditional clothing, mixed with
meet
Gara.
people who are cultural.
Absolutely. I want
South
to wear something,
Americans, Central Americans, they've never left their culture.
right? So for me, now, if we look at it from the economic point of view, we'll see that we'll keep reinvesting in our own. And we can make all the stuff we have in Sierra Leone that much more better. So, rethinking our belief system is going to be very, very important for us. So, our seed, that seed, once you put it in that soil, it will grow tall or it will remain stunted or not grow at all.
And I think
The ball is in our court.
even though we are not discussing education today, I think the bottom line of what you have just said is, how do we rethink our belief system so that we can go back and use our technology, our industry? When I was growing up, we had a lot of local industries that are dead today. Every village had a blacksmith. Every village had a goldsmith. Every village had somebody who was making pottery. There were basket weavers. There were mat weavers. There were textile people of different kinds. Somebody they make gara, somebody they make country clothes, etc., etc. That loom, what do they use for weave clothes? They are still using it in Norway to make the national dress called bonnet. We are importing something that looks like gara from China and which is plastic. Yes, that's what they use in Sierra Leone now, plastic with gara. Then get a local name who they say, oh, thing go die or come out near fire, something like that. You see, the belief system in dependency on external that has been reinforced in our educational system is what is impoverishing us now.
Yeah.
How do we reverse that? And if I can talk to me Fambule, they listen. This is not the reason for this program. This program is about examining then things they were supposed for do, we will not they do. When then they create some problems here. We would talk from now till thy kingdom come about the politicians. But while we know one thing, the politicians, they are victims of the same belief system we'll get. Only that then they'll side the resources there. And because we don't transfer the responsibility to them, although me you know it to them, let them not worry about me. I know they go big to them. Now, they are ill disposed to do what is right. We may blame them. Yes, we may blame them for not being bold enough for take decisions. Say, let we turn this thing around.
Yes.
So that everybody go benefit. But again, blaming them. Are we being fair to them? Because most of them have grown up in belief systems that has made them blind to the reality of what we are saying here. I hope you get me,
I get. Look, think about this. Think about this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ego. If na me own house, I take me television.
Mm-hmm.
I go keep another somebody in house.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, I say, bo, I say, keep this television for me. I go the can watch and yeah, so one time. They come back to me house no get one television.
Mm-hmm.
Me picking no get television. Then I watch again at me house. Next thing you know, I take the one old SETI. I carry on gonna do.
Yeah, you're not a bad man.
I carry on go there. I go as a keeper. I say no worry. I go the can sit on the one say. But that mean, but they are kind of me house. Now broko chair na in the day. The next thing you know, I take the carpet within at the ground and the floorboard. I total all that whenever I have total balance. I can't go now that person else. I go left and now. Anybody in any normal circumstance sees me, they will say I get serious mental problem. Because
the other way not understand, you go say they don't make juju for you.
right. Then go any whichever way, they go put and say na juju, na crazy, don't crazy. In other words, I know they act normal, I know they act sensibly, I know they act logically. That's what they will say. But that's exactly what our political leaders and many others and their own courts are doing. They're doing precisely that. Now, so you think about it, that you think it it is it's not rocket science to say it's stupid. Let's
Well,
it's not rocket science to say.
I would say it's the highest level of cowardice. Why is
Please
it
explain.
cowardice? A lot of people in high offices, not only politicians, people in high offices believe, say, the best way they can secure a good life for themselves for do some of them funny things here, then take whatever then gain from and can keep overseas. When, as a matter of fact, you can do the same thing, but you get them back invested in your country. I'll give you an example. I don't admire him, but I respect him for doing that. Olusegun Obasanjo. He made wealth out of politics in Nigeria, and he invested it in Nigeria. Say what you may about him, he is respected by the Nigerian society.
Mm-hmm.
We had an example of similar nature in Sierra Leone, Edward Kabo.
Mm-hmm.
When he was Minister of Transport under Shaka Stevens, he had a contract with Daimler Benz. Because then they buy buses from Daimler Benz, then give certain concessions, we get some Benz lorry them, he invest them in Sierra Leone, Marican Transport.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember all of them, yes.
So the question is, why are others not following suit? It's not madness, it's cowardice. And if you want to be a public servant, the first thing we for take off na cowardice. You know what I mean? Say they go and bully people. But you they do things them where not to everybody they approve of. But if at the end of the day, people see say what you have done, the benefits they come back to them, they will forgive you.
I agree.
This
Well,
is what
you
is
see,
happening in this part of the world.
yes. Now, let me go back to my granite farm. You see, from the very start, when the teacher take the pikin na the school, he take the granite, he put and bam na the book. That's where they started.
Yeah.
You see, eh? So their pikin day, ultimately, they go full circle. When they finish your education, they come back to the granite farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, eh? Now, one of the reasons why me I do what I do, and I get this passion for go upline, go Kamakwe, go spend time in the villages them around Sierra Leone. And when I travel around the world, I look for the cultural areas. Then one of the simple reasons, very simple reason, is that me most I go say fantastic moments were with me granny, Mami Foiri Bangura, whenever Eddie carry me go na farm for go walk. Those were, as a child, those were the moments that she gave me that kind of empathy and space for me to be able to just be myself and just carry on exploring. And if I go wrong, she's there to comfort me.
Now you don't come with something what I can say. Now you have just justified something that I have said.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to educational system for be worthwhile,
Mm-hmm.
we for build a kindergarten system based on this kind of experience we get.
Yeah.
But we will discuss that on another day.
Yes.
When we come
Well,
to it.
let me say, there's a particular brother that you and I know, Hindolo Pokawa, who
Okay.
already has got a school like this based on permaculture. It's a nursery school based in Mondema in Kenema.
Okay.
He built it there, did everything to make sure that the school is all about the children going into that school and the teachers, all of them coming in to work on the soil with the children, and the children are fed from the food that is grown there. They have their own bakery, everything that is basically that they could get there. They did from cassava to you name it. They were growing it there. Now, that's important. You see, because I want to say something here. There's two cultures that has clashed here. One culture is the culture of scarcity. The
There are three
European,
cultures, let me guide you.
No, wait, I'm coming. Wait,
Have three
no.
cultures. Go no more.
Wait, I'm coming.
Go.
Wait, when again you'll see where I'm heading. And you get
Okay.
now this first culture here, the culture of scarcity, the entire Europe have developed their culture based on scarcity. The land, the weather, everything here makes their land not to produce a lot. And it is by season, specific time.
Yeah.
If you do not sow in spring and harvest in summer, wallahi, when winter comes, you go swear the day and damn the hour. You will
And
suffer.
honestly, I've not been able to integrate within that culture as you are saying it. Others have don't get worried now.
Right. But that's for them. That
It's
now,
not part of
if
me. It's not in my belief system.
no, but now you see, now if we begin to look at what's the effect of that, the effect of that scarcity mentality has now meant when Henry V has his castle, he builds a big wall around it, puts archers, bow and arrow, people watching everywhere to make sure James II does not come in his
Castle for Olopan.
right, because James II is watching Henry VIII and says, Henry, if you left your backyard, I'm coming there to take. Why? Because I don't have enough, so I need to take more or I need to expand.
Yeah.
I want any one of us here to look at the entire causes of war in Europe from time
All
immemorial.
over the world,
It
it's
is
not only
all,
Europe. All over the
it's
world. It's about control
right.
of resources.
Resources. Okay, but let's now let us expand it. Let's expand it now.
Mm.
It reached a point where they all sat down in Berlin and says, "Look, hey, enough here.
No, no, fatigue. And beaucoup de logo.
That's it. Let's go." How? So they came to us. They went to South America. They went over to India and all those areas in Asia. When they came there, we have abundance. So our culture has been built on abundance. Therefore, you the partner somebody in backyard upline. Wali yo, wali mo. Timo mandere. Yankee mandere dondo. Yeah, so sageti mandere man. You want granite? No, Paul, look, I get small granite. Yeah, take no go. Mbe mitimo yi. Timo manko ma. Awa. Yama manko ma. You know, ka hogong. I sageti ma manko ma. Go and take the mango. Take as much as you want. Timo butanka. Awa, ka na hogong. You want kasada? Go woods. So we have developed a culture of abundance where anything you want, we just say, help yourself. We don't worry. You want land? Look at Fatty. From yonder to yonder. Now this man I ain't get today.
That is sandstone.
Right. Because we have we've built a culture around abundance. Now I want you to imagine, my people,
There is
when
a
the
third one,
culture,
but the sailor not say.
wait. I want you to imagine when the culture of scarcity met for the first time the culture of abundance. I want you to imagine, I do not know how many of you understand what Europe was like when they say 1425, 1325, what Europe really was like. If you
Without
understood that,
electricity and everything. How
right?
cold it was.
Cold and God. Now I want you imagine, and many of the people who went on these ships from Europe were mostly destitute, down and out people who had nothing to lose, and say,
There
look,
are no
if
morals, no anything.
for them, I just need to get out of this cold place. And so when they came, I want you to imagine the first time they came and saw the clean ocean,
Now
warm.
make it easy. Now you just train yourself. Make it easy. It's still happening in the modern time. But
Yes.
now the reverse they happen.
Yes.
How we they go ask JC? Will people learn?
Yes. Well, wait. You see, now that you business, oh, you now that you business, you don't go on.
Oh,
Wait,
it's gone. Go ahead.
not bit gone. Please, not bit gone. Because now when they came during this 1425, 13, whatever it is, and they
Mm.
saw this, I want you to imagine how they felt. Literally, their brain did somersaults, then turnover, because they've never seen it so abundant. And of course, what they do is they kapu, 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 kapu. And they created a word, very important word. And this is again, I want us to think about this as we're talking here about a belief system. They created a word that they saw an opportunity. When I say that word to you, the word opportunity, what feeling does it give to you? What sense it gives to you? If you think about it carefully, it gives you a sense of scarcity, that it is not something that you get anytime. Therefore, it gives you a sense of
It comes
urgency,
and it may disappear.
and it may disappear.
So there is scarcity.
So the scarcity. So grab it now.
Yeah.
To make it even more, they've compounded it with a window of opportunity. So
And there is
now
no window in nature.
there's no window. But in your head now, you create the window now. So what you constantly have now within us is that it is not enough. Therefore, we must grab it. So our education system is seen as an opportunity,
Not a right.
not a right.
Before these
So
people came, education was a right.
voila. You see, every single one of us traditionally would go into education system that everybody will get and
Yeah,
everybody will benefit the
yeah,
society.
yeah.
Now they came with an
We call it,
yes,
they call our education rite of passage.
rite of passage.
But that was free and open education that taught
Because
a lot of technologies.
right, because our people understood very clearly that they believed, if I use that word, that it is very important. It is the right for every child to be educated equally and properly
Exactly.
so that they can serve the community in the best way they possibly can for cohesion.
Yeah.
Now, when they came with this window of opportunity education, they started taking chief, picking them for go educate them. They started taking 2, 3 orphans here and there, go and educate them. And in the
Well,
Western
go
way,
for brainwash them so that they can use them to control, not educate.
precisely. Now, so where we're at now, when we look at Sierra Leone, we see an education system that we say, now opportunity, you get so for go school. So where are we at with that opportunity?
Let me tell
We
you
are
something. I'm sorry to cut you off, sir.
mhm,
When I was going to school, I'm in the Gloucester Lane by Frobe Road. Every evening I sneak go Elk Street. I go listen Alexandra Bell and
mhm,
in group Vox Afrique, then they practice. That would also been there by Anniversary Junction. So then cover them.
mhm.
I they go listen to myself begin go inside the land for play guitar. I begin play keyboards. News go now, say I don't they begin go play. Oba, one day they go give me good dirty beats. You guys swear, now like you are like you so. Sometimes I can see no I remember say, if I was a musician, maybe I would have been more richer than Michael Jackson or Elon Musk. You see how believe they are more good I make up
Yes.
this.
Look,
In those days, education was the only opportunity.
yes,
Any deviation from that to play football,
yes,
to dance, to play music was seen as totally
yes,
deviant from the norm. And 30 days we get our belief there.
yeah.
Take today. It's
Yes.
waning away, it's dying away. I would
Yeah.
honestly tell you, for most people seeing Yusuf Jallo going all over the place, playing music and telling story, they don't understand what you're doing.
Mm-mm. 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 Mm-mm.
You see, this is how belief, but just make people they understand, say, we beliefs, and they make we beliefs, and they determine how fast or how slow we they develop. This opportunity, window of opportunity, this scarcity mentality, now I bring the third culture way, they give me chance for talk about.
You can
The
talk now.
culture of impunity.
Yes.
The culture of impunity did not exist in traditional African societies.
Yeah.
There was protection
Mhm.
because people let me get the need for protect themselves against wild animals and unforeseen circumstances. A
Mhm.
lot of art was developed around that. A lot of science was developed around that.
Mhm.
Then came the 11th century,
Yeah.
where people then come on at the north, then come begin take the people them, take the woman them, for carry them go, then begin exchange them for horses. The culture of scarcity was introduced from the north of Africa to us.
See?
You
Mhm.
see, another defend the European, no, but
Mhm.
the one who
Mhm.
look at this thing critically.
Yeah.
The people from the north came to Africa well before the Europeans came
Mhm.
in the 11th century. They
Mhm.
influence a lot of things what they do even today.
Mhm.
When the Europeans came, they met a system that has been established.
Mhm.
Then, haggard as they came, they saw the opportunity to use what we are against us. So now we are controlled by that factor. And I'll tell you, even the Chinese coming to Africa, that's what they are going to do, yeah?
Look here. Let's face it. The Chinese, I've been to China and I've seen the population and I've seen how they've built their country. And that, the way they've built it, only only reinforces this thing of scarcity,
Yeah,
because with the magnanimous, humongous buildings and infrastructure that they have, whether it's in Shanghai, wherever you want to go, they need stuff to maintain that, and they
yeah,
don't have it. The
yeah,
place to come to is Africa, where we have abundance. Now, what I think now, as we are thinking culture and we're thinking our belief system, because certain times you need to change certain belief systems for you to, as there's a saying that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
yeah,
Therefore, we need to begin to change the way we look at how people are coming to us from the outside. We've seen across Africa, especially south of the Sahara, and it's also in Sierra Leone, we've seen Chinese coming in and beating up some of our people. And we all know the popular video of one of our brothers who had a fight with one of the Chinese guys few years back that was circulated around. We got to ask ourselves this thing. What gave that Chinese man that belief that he could treat a Sierra Leonean indigene in any way like that and he will get away with it? What gave the Sierra Leonean that kind of belief to stand there watching this Chinaman beating and abusing their own, and none of them are supporting their own? We live there. We've seen the Lebanese do the same thing to many of our people in Sierra Leone as well. We've seen all of those kind of. So we've got to ask ourselves, what kind of belief system do we have of these people who are coming into our country and continue to abuse us? And I go right across the board of people who are coming in. What is it about our belief system as Sierra Leoneans that must take into consideration our self-preservation, our self-dignity? What is it? What is it? You know,
I think I
I
have the answer to that, but that's a whole discussion by itself.
well, again, like I said, when we're checking
We
into
may
this
just
belief,
introduce it now
yeah.
and expand on it in another discussion,
Mhm,
because maybe this culture issue therefore do an expansion on them one more time.
mhm,
You see, there is always this popular belief by certain Africans
mhm,
that there is this war between Afrocentrics
mhm,
and Eurocentrics.
mhm,
There is not a war between Afrocentrics and Eurocentrics. There is a war of the African belief being easily hacked and abused by foreigners. That's the awareness where the African not get up till now. That what he is what is being used against him by every foreigner where they come. This Nigerian writer and poet, Chinewezu, he wrote an anthology on that,
mhm,
where he say admonition to the black race.
mhm,
I think I be don't send that poem there to you. Now, a
mhm,
very popular poem was popular with me because I am an Afrocentric looking at Africa differently.
mhm.
Rather than looking at who to blame, I dey look at what is my own fault.
Yes, yes, I would agree. I would definitely agree with you that this is why I asked that question. What
Mhm.
is our belief system?
That's where I'm getting.
Because,
It's
yes,
us that have not sat down to
mhm,
examine what we are doing wrong, that these foreigners, be them Chinese, be them European, be them Indian, be them Lebanese, etc., are using to their advantage against us.
well, let me just read this one that's just coming.
Mhm.
Alpha Jallo say, the Chinese Gary is now in SaLone.
But then they make Chinese gara. Now the gara they talk about.
Now, Gara or Gary, well, make it
Alpha,
qualify.
Alpha. I think what we should do,
Yeah,
we've gone 1 hour, 30 minutes. Let we give
yeah,
people time, let them call in.
yeah,
Let we get a conversation. Because
yeah.
this is getting more interesting. I'm sure he's talking about Gara, not Gary.
Here, Memphis is not Gary they talk about, but let's see.
Let me
Conotry,
see
Conotry
if
is
I
saying
can
something so
see.
important here. Conotry is saying with a diaspora fund, you can influence policies in our land. Look at the concessions foreign entities extract from our government every year. Please join
Oh,
us in advocating
let
for
me
diaspora
jump.
funds. Conotry talks about the schools, for example, that we get more of our primary schools are being
You
sponsored
see, this idea about
by.
diaspora fund,
Mhm,
it is something I believe in, but I believe we are not yet matured for that.
mhm,
We are not yet matured for diaspora fund development in Sierra Leone.
mhm.
We don't have the mental trajectory to sustain such an investment project. You know, we therefore be realistic and truthful to we say for once. Let
Hmm,
we left this Western perception applied in Africa. You know, the woke.
hmm,
We don't talk about granite farm just now, not so.
mhm,
And I tell you in between, say we agriculture not a work because we not see the value of the granite.
mhm,
Just like that granite farm, Sierra Leone has every resource for her to generate between 15 and $30 billion per annum. But we lack the mental infrastructure because the beliefs are colonized. The colonization of a belief now for decolonize first. Then we can have a diaspora fund. Because if we take money now, go give, you go buy treasury bills, then go tell you, say, they invest these treasury bills on schools. The person then they give the contract, they go build that school badly. It take the money, can buy us in America. I want you to believe what I tell you so. If we decolonize the mind, these things will not work.
Look, we
can do them within the next 5 to 10 years. But we get for step up, we messaging about how we decolonize we mind, so that when we put we money, the money they stay in SaLone, it circulates in SaLone.
Yes. And again, like we said, when we talk of culture, it's funny. And some people then will probably look at me now and think, oh my God, not this again. But I'd ask the simple question: why make up till now?
Let me do so. Go ahead, sir. Let me do something. I want people to call. We get a conversation.
Okay. The question why they ask is, why make
Alpha? They are looking at the waiting. You go see the number, the 047-4176-8343. Call, we get a conversation. Or not 3, of course. You know the number. If you want call, you go call after Alpha. Go ahead, sir.
Now, that the number where you put, is it 00474 or is it 0474?
00471768343.
All right. Okay.
Let me separate it and see.
Okay, maybe. Separate it for people then forget them. Yeah.
When I put it all together.
Yeah. So the question where they ask is, why up till now, as we call ourselves sovereign nation, still we lawyer them the way that we not then aid
because we are still colonized mentally.
Right.
Simple, short and simple.
Yeah,
why
would not
offend the country close cap?
Right. Now, if we begin for look into this again and begin for see why make we believe say pass away that one day, nine they make them. Of course, we go into the colonial question or the colonial topic and so on. We can go into all of that,
but so no, we don't need to at this time, my brother.
No, I know.
3 years after colonial.
Yes. No, I
think
that's what I for say. Now that's what I for say.
Hello?
Now that's what I for say.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, my friend. How are you? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, do you hear me? Are you hearing me loud and clear? Maybe they hear you when they say hello.
They might need to turn their sets down if their set is up, if they're listening to.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
You need for turn you set down, Mr. Shaw. Me they hear you clearly, and I know say me guess they hear you clearly.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, for some reason, maybe you guys can hear me, but I cannot hear you clearly. The volume is very low. I don't know why.
Is it? How about now? Is it better now? Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. Now I can hear you. I apologize.
Okay.
Now I can hear you. I don't know if your guests can hear me also.
He does hear you clearly.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
You've gone back. I cannot hear you, Mr.
You cannot hear me?
Oh, Lord. Can you hear me?
Because I wanted to engage you guys. If I cannot hear you guys, it makes no sense.
I know, but can you hear me at all? Can you hear me?
Okay. We hear you clearly.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
I don't know what the problem is. Maybe it's on the cables.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. I'm having other problems.
Now we can hear you very well.
We
so
hear you
sure
very loud and clear. We wonder why you know they hear you. Hello?
I'm really sorry about this.
Hello? Hello?
Well, very well. I believe you guys can hear. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can hear me now clearly. Okay. My discussion again, my brothers and sisters in SaLone and to the diaspora where they listen and the many thousands that will get for listen later on. And I always appreciate you, Mr. Jallo, your knowledge. May Allah reward you for it. And that is the point. The greatest legacy one can give in life, knowledge, passing on knowledge. You know, now one of the best legacy that the whole person that you bless. But anyway, and so is your guest, a very knowledgeable, very, very respectful of that brother. Forgive me for not remembering your name, but
it's also Mr. Jallo.
Oh, Mr. Jallo, okay.
It's Yusufu Jallo. This na Poodle Union, so this na FPU for teleportal.
Amen. But anyway, let me make this clear so the whole SaLone me, I the advocate for a diaspora fund. The reason I the advocate for diaspora fund, all what we are the talk so correct. For example, let's go into our educational system. Look at the way our country education is structured. Today, in the primary level, you have more mission schools than you do government school.
There were never government schools in Sierra Leone, Mr. Shaw. Let me make that clear.
There you go. Well,
the British not be invest in education. And as a matter of fact, they may only create a rudimentary school for educate the sons and wards of chiefs.
Yeah.
Later, they make hypocrisy for create one or two government schools. But the bulk of education was done by missions since time immemorial. When we get independence, we inherited a crisis where the intellectuals of Sierra Leone up till now not able to solve. The crisis of one, the type of education where we need for develop. As a matter of fact, Professor Tommy Dugba, we lecture me in Ajala University in the 70s, and this pa Newman Smart, we been get Cardinal Educational Service in Circular Road, and who was head of the education department at Frobe College. Then we come together, then do a well-researched something on the kind of education we go suit to in Sierra Leone. Then come with a manual where then say education, all our future. But believe me, since that manual was written, it's gathering dust in the archives. You see this diaspora fund way they talk about, where they say we're not mature for it. I will tell you this, Mr. Shaw. Sierra Leone has all the policy she needs for her to develop. But we mental situation, especially with our politicians and intellectuals, they allow that.
Okay. Here we go, Mr. Jallo. This is my argument, my counter argument to that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to our history.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in our country is funded by outsiders.
It's not the money, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw. I want to hold something. Them funds the way then they give you not they exist in any bank vault. They are written to us for us to inherit a debt and pay back.
Yes. I will make the connection, Mr.
If IMF tell you say then they give 10 million, be rest assured IMF not get bank vault will get $10 million. It's only a written thing. That's the secret about banking that most people don't know. They write you a debt, you create the money for them.
Well, Mr. Jallo, here you go now. You make my point for me.
They make you point, but they tell you say we can do what you want. Then they take that money, can put in European banks.
No, Mr. Jallo. Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there is a possibility, Mr. Jallo.
Uh-huh.
If you see the reason we're not food sovereign, and we not get the infrastructure then our land for basic stuff like water, sanitary, road, bridges, we not get all landed, electricity, we not get all landed. All this before, now loan would go beg other people and for sponsoring.
Yes, because we know they think as a people.
Yeah, but hold on. Hence my point, Mr. Jallo.
Mm-hmm.
I make none of them sustainable, Mr. Jallo, because it depends on someone else to fund it.
Mr. Shaw.
Wait, let me finish. Let me just finish, sir. Let me just
go
finish,
ahead. Go ahead.
Then you can go on. I know, I understand. It's a you to come on. There's a lot of questions that we can put in. I'm not what you had to suggest now, perfect. I mean, people like you, with your experience, with your education, with your knowledge, you will guide we with what you had to talk about. So, now I believe in this because
go ahead and finish.
My point that I'm trying to make is ask for a fund. Say, for example, just invest them on food sovereignty and building our infrastructure. There's an estimate about 1.2 to 1.5 million of us in the diaspora. This not the most conservative estimate.
That I agree with. I agree with that.
Okay, within $15 to $25 a month, Mr. Jallo, we go build with infrastructure slowly. Based on my estimate, if we agree to this diaspora fund as a people, even if we get 500,000 of us with $25 a month, we'll come up with $25 million a month. We will build our infrastructure and invest them on food sovereignty now we land. Because we politicians and the international organizations the way that sponsor we talk about food security. They need to talk about food sovereignty. And that is by design.
Okay. Now let us agree to disagree.
Okay.
I agree with everything what you don't say. Because now something we myself believe in. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But I want you understand, say, in this life where they live, everything starts with our beliefs. Everything is influenced by our beliefs. The belief we'll get now, na Sierra Leone, in order to allow we for make that diaspora fund work well. The first task is let we change the beliefs. And that make we get this program where me and Yusuf we do every 2 weeks. Let we change we belief because then get a parable na Creole say no wastewater and ducks back. The money is not the difficulty. At the camps, that just make me point. The collection of the money is not the difficulty. Now, the utility of the money and the consequent repercussions, now with difficulty. We can get all the money, as you say, and I believe that. If we come with the correct message to Sierra Leoneans, not only in the diaspora, but even people within Sierra Leone, we get the capacity, they will put their money. But putting the money will go give a set of people where they go give false contracts. Then the projects are not materialize. Don't argue that, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, I worked in Sierra Leone 20 good years of my life. I left that country without a pension. I don't hold it against anybody, but a failed system. And that failed system is still in place.
Indeed, Mr. Jallo. But watching the advantage, the Saiwa I see what we get. Now we provide the money. We go build mechanism. Of course, corruption is in anything in life.
I don't like to be very direct, Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, 2005 to 2009, we started with a project similar to this. We called it DENI, Diaspora Expatriate something, something, something. We didn't gather money, but we were building on the technical capacity for identify things, then for do, etc., etc. Some people received money from a fund through the United Nations system. They went to Sierra Leone, Denny died. And we saw the emergence of different other things. The mental capacity is not there, Mr. Shaw. Hey, Mr. Shaw, I'm not a boast about this. This is a public place. But if we have the mental capacity in Sierra Leone, I have the ability to mobilize billions of dollars to go into Sierra Leone. But I'll not stick my neck out for a situation I know will not work.
Mr. Jallo, I understand your concerns on that aspect. I understand that completely. But I truly believe if we come up with a plan, we will make our country successful, my brother.
Not to money they make development, Mr. Shaw. While you get this clear, money is created, money does not exist.
Mr. Jallo, I completely disagree in the sense that if you put the funding, you will change people the mentality. You will educate. We educate. This education we you talk about. So you will bring.
Well, now they do so now. What are they do now? Me money they use let the whole area for change.
Yes.
When I begin see the change, they will mobilize the other resources.
Mr. Jallo,
I don't believe or put the cart before the horse.
Mr. Jallo, you will sit down and wait until we get that generation. Generations before me have come and done nothing. Mr. Jallo, if we go with that,
let we get 40% first. They believe what you they talk. They can begin go inside.
I need your help in your platform for engage with this topic and talk to with people.
Okay, I'll give you a day. We can come and talk about this. Take it from it's my word.
Okay, I will let the other guests think about this, and they instead just direct me. I want directions. This not for all SaLone. This not to me idea. I don't have monopoly on this idea at all. I don't get monopoly, but it's not idea. I don't talk about for 10 years now in my life. And
I believe your idea. I want to let you know that I believe what you they talk. I ready for subscribe to them. But I believe say we not get the belief system for allow this idea for work properly.
But I need your help to change that belief system.
Not only one, not only one. You need people like me. There are many people like me.
No, the whole country now we need.
We need people to think the way we are thinking for make we get the system for work.
Can I come in?
You hear the guest?
I hear you, I'm fine, yeah.
No, Mr. Shaw, they ask you, do you hear the guest?
No, not yet. So I will get off and give other brothers and sisters the chance for call.
Okay.
Okay. But anyway, if they go, no problem. But let's just comment on.
Ego, you comment on online.
Online. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, Mr. Shaw. What thing you don't talk about so important. I remember some time ago, I began to think about what you call national funds for education. National funds for education was a thought way I've been get to and say, well, instead of we get all boys grammar school, all boys Prince of Wales, all girls Annie Walsh, and so on and so forth, OBA, blah, blah, blah. Why don't we have a national fund for schools where those of us in the diaspora, whoever, wherever we might be, that we raise a funding that go there for every school, because Prince of Wales or Annie Walsh are not the only schools in Sierra Leone. Why don't we raise the standard of many of the other schools, whether they're in the east end of Freetown and so on? So, so it was one of these things which I'm
Hello?
gonna.
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
Fine, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I mean, listening to a conversation, you carry just get off the phone about contribution of 25 for each diaspora for so they could build infrastructure, right? Like, as we see, like I want to give one next example about this policy. I make the ambassador say, right? So they give money, but not only the answer of the federal government. I don't send the expert away for this work. At the end of the day, you know, when I want people in the hand. When I put this guy, the body such with you guys say, like, when you say in 100%, right, so the mindset of the people has to be changed. But like, it has to start somewhere. With the belief, okay, say, and the belief, it has to start somewhere. Like, what you guys say, like, $25 per person every month. For 1 million people, I shoot $25 million annually. 2 million people now, $50 million. I mean, it's a long way for when I started. But like, if you do that with it, long way, let me tell you, before you become a one of those just things for the busy people and some of them are this particular people. If they're starting over, so now reliable people. Maybe she now I will know the tendency of people and say, maybe they say, I'm waiting for you to get the job done. You say, okay, this I want to use from my training to Canada. But it's only one day, you know, how challenge because they say not reach to themselves. Rather do the same way like they are making ambassador to how they really get into money, or they use it and they pay some more, and the answer the correction, or they use it and they call the expert on, so they can do the job. But like I 100% buy to the idea. I really buy to this idea, like I mean 100%. Really.
Okay.
I never think trust man, I never see, I never hear a person talk about this.
You hear the guest because since F1 says something.
Yes, I hear everything what the guest is saying.
Another now, yes, I will use the job.
You the way they talk?
No, maybe.
I wonder why this is the case.
Well, it's a pity not hearing me at all.
Okay.
They hear you.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I say earlier on, before you call in, remember we get an idea before of developing what you call national fund for schools. Not necessarily to replace each individual school for raise their own funds, as in whether any Walsh one for raise their old girls, whatever thing, that's all fine. But we should have a national fund for schools whereby every single school eligible for make them able for access them, for make them improve their own their may they improve their capacity for educate them, picking them wherever they might be in the country of Sierra Leone. Now, I know for say we get with Ministry of Education, they safety source their own funds, and that's their primary responsibility actually for support all the school study. But in line with waiting Conotry, Mr. Shaw, Mr. Shaw just to talk about here, it's about it's about us as Sierra Leoneans actually taking responsibility for the development of our country. And I'm glad the way you said you don't do the research, you don't look at the statistics of the of the amount of people and where we possibly can put money together. And it's quite clear that we get the
capacity.
We got the capacity.
Yeah.
It's undeniable for say we get the capacity. You understand? But and it's another for even use the word but. However, we get for definitely develop the mindsets in this program. We say the belief system. Yeah. Now there's a school or there's a set of schools in Sierra Leone right now, in Freetown specifically, as far as Waterloo as well, called something academy. I don't go even walk that school there as well. Rising, I think it's Rising Academy they call. Okay. Now, Rising was literally sponsored by some, I think it's a bank in Europe or America or so, literally funded this particular woman. And they went to Sierra Leone and they're just opening schools left, right, and center in the areas in Freetown where the government literally just ignores a school, not that in communities then they in Freetown. And I've been to a number of them schools then they. I don't go work inside the schools then they. I see what in Rising Academy do. I'm talking to you, my people here. Every one of them picking them mostly come up from deprived area. Then they go to their school then they. In Freetown, if you talk to any teacher in Freetown right now, one of the favorite schools would then go aim for go teach na Rising Academy, because the salary is good, the discipline is good, the code of ethics is good, is adhered to, and headed by people who stick to their words, and they are raising children for proper education system. They don't call me a few times as a consultant, as somebody wait for go to inspire the picking them. So I've seen a variety of these schools scattered around Freetown, and again, as far as Waterloo. When you go to the school, it clean, it decent, how the teacher and they behave themselves around the picking them is phenomenal. Now, that's private money that's gone in there for supporting picking. This same Rising Academy also in the establishment back in Liberia. What I'm saying is that.
Yeah, Mr. Jallo, I want to call the call. I listen to you. I want to call the call.
Okay. You know the area and clearly?
No, it can't small. The pitch was very small.
Okay, I think I have a problem with my connection system. Okay. Okay. Cut off, then you go listen.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that Rising Academy is one such example of the effects private money can have in the school and within the education system. And what you see Rising Academy do, they build an ethos first for build the teacher. That was key for them, for build the teacher. That the teacher in mentality, when he come to that school day, now for the best for the picking them. When the picking them, they come to the school day as well. Now for make sure say each of them picking them, they will be transformed for make themselves able for go help them their community. And like I said, many of the picking the way they come now Rising Academy, now picking the way come up from down and out, they are really struggling as family. But somehow the Rising Academy set up their system for make sure say they are bringing the best out of them picking them day. And I talk this out of experience. I've seen the level of picking them, and I've seen the training when they give the teachers them over and over. Now, all of that, now part of what need for happen, where we talk for develop the belief system and the mindset of the people them where we get.
Yeah.
I could also suggest as well to Mr. Shaw that for just looking at solutions here rather than just even looking at the problems, because the problems are there. Make no mistake. Somebody
Mr.
ready now for chop that couple.
Let me come with something, sir.
So
Sorry, Mr. Shaw, you are not being a nuisance, sir. Don't use that word on yourself.
definitely not. You're not.
You are
Definitely
not.
not. Okay.
You have come with a very good idea,
Yes.
but as far as we see them rationally, it can work 10 years from now, it can work 5 years from now, but not right now. Maybe we can find a way for begin experiment with them right now. But that no means we'll get for go out to the diaspora. Let's have a small group. We begin see what you can do. Let this Rising Academy way they talk.
Fine. That's what I want to say now, because now we need to look at best practice in the country that is working.
Yeah.
Rising Academy is best practice. So I will even advise Mr. Shaw, research a little bit about Rising Academy. And I know the lady where they head the entire Rising Academy, both in Sierra Leone and Liberia. She's a friend of mine. So somebody like that again, need to be engaged in something like this and discuss.
I want to have the opportunity to engage as an educationist.
Okay.
Let me see maybe what can be gained from a system and what she can gain from other, like this Pocoine system.
Yeah.
Those are two systems that need to be synchronized.
Yes. Yes. So in other words, Mr.
But again, as they say, the belief, will they be ready to work together? Because belief systems, they come inside again.
Yes, that's fine. But whatever the case is, there is one common goal. And that common goal is a goal to transform the minds of these children and eventually the system. I know Mr. Pokawa enough to know how passionate he is about changing the system. I know Rising Academy staff enough to vouch how much they are working to change the system against the odds that the children. Because I went to the Waterloo school and I'm like, my God, you guys, it's like you've brought a spaceship in the middle of the Gbogbo Jama kind of place. It's
and
like you're out.
They're on the way coming, let me tell you. Anunnakis are coming soon.
The where the Rising Academy is in Waterloo, it's along the road to going to Benguima. When you are there, when you go there and you walk, you go to the place and you're driving and you're going like that, and then all of a sudden you come to this school. If you see how they have done it,
on the back of Peninsula Secondary School,
it is done so well. The classrooms clean, tidy, everything in there. What I'm saying is they have taken it in little bite sizes. So maybe what Mr. Shaw could be looking at as a collective is we begin to take bite size. They say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's how you eat an elephant. It's about taking bite sizes and then we change. Okay, that's one example or two examples there, looking at Hindolo and then looking at Rising Academy. Let me take myself here. I work with a huge number of young people in Sierra Leone in secondary schools specifically through an organization called Patriotic Advocacy Network. Now, Patriotic Advocacy Network was started off by a young man called Ansumana Keita when he was in secondary school. Today, Patriotic Advocacy Network is now not only working with over 2,000 young people across the country, but together we are putting on storytelling competition, national storytelling festival. We are putting on, girls empowerment, debates, and we've put on national kite flying competition and so on. We've done many things together. Why? Because what I did when I met them, they were very small in number. My first challenge to them, I said to them, if you guys are going to call me to come and give a talk to your pupils up at FBC, it was. I said, if you're going to call me, my number one condition is that everybody must turn up on time and we must start the event on time. That was my first. Criteria for them. Well, when I went to FBC, guess what? The event started, I would be honest to say, it started 10 minutes after time, right? But we know what Sierra Leone is like, how people turn up very, very late. 10 minutes for me was good enough. I gave them thumbs. I said, okay, I'm with you. I supported them. And then I started giving them a little bit more events and and I saw they were following it on, coming on time, coming on time. Eventually, I gave them National Storytelling Festival. I said, let us run this. And I cannot praise these young women and young men enough on how they ran National Storytelling Festival. All of them are school children. Few of them were in university. Fast forward 6 years on. 6 years on, a lot of these young men and women are now graduated lawyers. Some of them are now barristers. They've been called to the bar. Some of them are working in banks. Some of them are pharmacists. And you name it, all over the whole place, they've grown. And they are now the ones who are teaching and training other young people. I've worked with them to build integrity, to build respect for themselves, to build a discipline of turning up on time. And there is no sacred cow. Anybody who messes up, you will get repercussions for that. We have booked City Hall for events. We've done international storytelling festivals. We've done stuff, and they made more money when we did National Storytelling Festival. They made so much money. The guys, they sat with me and looked at it and thought, my God, we've never seen so much money in our lives. But because they put in the hard work over a period of 6 years. Today, National Storytelling Festival is about to happen in end of January next year. I don't even need to be there anymore. I raise funds, send to them. They also know how to raise funds for themselves. The festival can carry on without me. Now, to achieve that meant a systematic way of working with these young people, but because I saw a seed of discipline in Ansumana Keita,
You
who is the head.
impacted their beliefs.
Right. You see, now it was
You
a nice.
changed the beliefs, so now things are working.
It's working. It was no easy ride. Let me put it that way. It was no easy
It's
ride for
never easy.
Ansumana
It's
Keita.
never easy.
It was tough, but we had parents who would come and says, look at my child, please take my child and discipline my child and make sure my child turns out to be. And I cannot begin to tell you the amount of young people that today look back at us and say to us, thank you that we went through your program at Patriotic Advocacy Network. So again, what I'm saying to Mr. Shaw is that everything I'm talking here, I'm talking out of experience that I have been on the ground in Sierra Leone. And there is a way to do it, but it's going to come in little bite size.
Exactly.
So raising the big money is one thing, but unless you get BAFPAN will not get whole.
Well,
If you rusty, water no go leak. If you rusty, sometimes we'll go paint and small lay a make. You understand it? So for me, I think for as much as the capacity that we could raise $25 million is there, but we could try raising maybe $25,000 first.
Yeah.
And then we go small bite size. We just try one school. We may not even need to build a new school. we may just need to go maybe to an existing school and expand it. And
And
then
we may even need to do a training of trainers program within our.
exactly, it may mean those kind of things. So maybe when we now begin to look at how do we do this, what is the process? So if we're talking of a belief system, first of all, we know we've written down a particular strap line that we believe in. So we know this is the strap line that we're going in with. So when we call teachers in to train them, those teachers know this is the strap line, and you mess about with this strap line here, you're out straight away, and we're looking for the right people to come in. To me, if we begin to look at it that way, we are getting somewhere. So bite size, and we need to plan it so meticulously down to the T. So there is no moment for us to, for people to even start playing wayo, as we go say. You understand there? Because that's how we deal with our people. But the idea that you bring up, it makes sense.
Now,
For Sierra Leone,
everything about
bite
it is
size.
good.
Right.
Everything about it is good. But
Yeah.
we need to have what is absent in Sierra Leone.
Look, let me also point out. Let me also point out again, since Fulaman, we're all in also. There is the Fulaman who built one of the most amazing schools I've ever seen in Freetown. The school, a
That's
day where you go towards.
Fulapta Hill, not him.
No. This is going towards Mambo. Mambo, Bienda Ende, go as if you're going towards Sussex. Oh Lord, the school, when you go in there, the school is on the right. I went to that school. I know the head teacher personally. She's there, and she is also one of our how you call them, chair people for Patriotic Advocacy Network. She's working very closely with me and my team. That woman heads that school. If you see the school, it was built by one Fulaman. Oh my days! This is a private school, one of amazing school. If you see the grounds, if you see everything in that school, you would think, "Hey, na SaLone we there?" And I'm not exaggerating. I have walked in that school. I've been there. I've seen the hall that this man built for children there. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you, Mr. Shaw, is that there are elements in Sierra Leone there already that could be worked with. I know people personally that could be worked with, but it's in bite size, small sizes, and then we'll see. So if we go to say to start something new, we could find ourselves in problems, but we could find the people that together we begin to work gradually with, and then we expand. That's my little pepper and salt to this whole thing.
Okay, I think we have done enough time today, sir.
Yeah.
I thank you very much for this sacrifice that we are making for Sierra Leone. Because if we have to change what is in Sierra Leone now, we therefore look at how they change with belief systems, how they reform with belief systems, how they relate with traditional systems for make them work for we. As a matter of fact, along the line, we therefore do a talk show on how for incorporate traditional systems and modernize them. I'm giving you 4 notice so that you go and do all the research. How will they make that granite candlelight on here, Sierra Leone? So that we know they go
Trust
let
me.
other person you. You understand?
Oh yes.
But it has been an interesting 2 hours spent. And I believe say the response what we get from people and they show say the message they go. The message they go. Now the
Yeah,
kind
of
of
course.
conversation this way we want.
Mm-hmm.
Let us be talking to each other. Let us agree to disagree. Let we see what is good in everything and use them for a common good.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things we absent now, we belief system as it has been created. Because while we guide we listeners them before they go. That belief system what they talk about now, not to say been there.
Mm-hmm.
Now create them, then will people they accept them. So we can still create a new belief system where people will accept them. But if people will accept that new belief system, now we think say we know something, now we for come together, let people understand say this system can work. I see somebody they try for call me. I don't know if not the same old caller. Yes, hello.
Yes, sir, Mr. Jallo. So before the program, I just know this quick submission. All the guest speakers say, I really agree to an idea because when they say before start something new, that will start with some good like an existing school. The church will transform that school into something. Maybe you believe it to be something new or start. You understand? Which is very brilliant idea. Yeah, and I don't know what last solution about it, but at the end of the day, the way you say, I can always love waiting which have a going program. Come on, talk. I can always listen. Because we put the talk waiting, you know, in our no. If they really go to this person, it's share with people. They know what to talk. And you will keep what you talk. And that's so most of the love for you. Anytime, most of that you know it's way.
Well, the purpose why they do this. Now forget people then like our attention. Let we come together and begin see what we go able to do or make change happen. Talking is good, doing is better. Now that you people are getting attracted to some of their ideas, yeah, even though some of them are stupid and borrowed, don't mind me. I'm just that person. But let we see how we can translate them into gainful something. I've been try for tell me, brother, Mr. Shaw, just not say, money is created, it does not exist. Money comes from ideas. But if your ideas cannot be translated into an economic good or service, then you cannot have money. Money is created. Even when you go in a bank, when you go take loan for $1 million, they not get an vault. Now right then they write them. Then give you. You understand? Then they create them for you. The same way we can create wealth in Leone, but we forget a common belief. We go hold we together, let we respect each other, we trust each other. Otherwise, we'll be throwing water on ducks' back. And now because we not allowed to throw water on our ducks' back, now I make me and me pull a brother. We say, look, and sit down, they talk to people, them, and sometimes and go listen to the nonsense what they talk. Let it make sense. Una share, una subscribe, una help let this channel grow, because this is where we are going to change Sierra Leone. And it's not a political change. The change what we need, not to politics. Now with social psychology, we need for change. When we change with social psychology, then the politics, they change it, they become very decent.
Because in the end, that now in a way that don't take that in a new way for being that change in the country this way, we live off from politics, we live off from the political eyes. Because I know most of the people really have paying attention to the political party.
Let politicians then do what in they want to do. Let them then at then lane. We will begin what you want to do and do on our own lane.
That's not impossible. I'll give you an example. The spiritually commode the area. The spiritually commode the area. You know, a bad thing, you know, if you need it, don't live. It's big. I tell people myself, so this place, this will be the maker. I say, from all the come up any small, the one and I don't see the position on this road. So this time around, they use concrete. And I possible, blah, blah, blah. And so I will Sasha get the strategy. So luckily, this motorcar really be effective part in company. It can look the slab, the streets. So once the mayor, that's in the mayor, you have the actual mayor in your place. I'll tell us, when I think you can't now look to streets and so I will do that 10 bags in America. So the commercial the chief, you can actually nothing and make a 50 bags. So if you fix the way you now encounter the next thing you got now people at the junction now tell people all man can you will begin to use your thing. This may come to realization. So I begin to ask people in all stores, whatever thing you do.
Well, you created money. You created money without using cash. Yes. Now, impossibilities, now we they create them. And one of the things where they make we they get impossibilities in Africa or Sierra Leone, now we belief systems. If we change our belief systems, then all things will change. Do ya? May guess done the time now we get for do something tomorrow. So I go, what I want let you do? Save me number, call me la we talk. Yeah? Call me la we talk. Okay. Okay. So let we left the guest, let go rest now, yeah? Okay, sir. Yeah, go later. Yes, sir. As I say, we have come to the end, and I think we get a very good response from the audience. No matter the size of the audience. Now the response, because this is meant to be an interactive something. And I know say the more people are convinced about what we are doing here, the more we will get other people to come and join us. Thank you very much for coming, sir. May family them do ya. Una subscribe it, una subscribe, una like the video, una share them. Let we build these ideas them where we play around with. When God was ready to make the world, he used 7 days and the word. He not being get money, but he converted the word into money. And he made man in his image and likeness so we can convert ourselves with ideas into money. And this is what we are doing here. Thank you very much, Mr. Jallo. Your last word, sir.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for listening to the program, and thank you for all our contributions. Them, my own last word, where I just want for you to understand now that we're environment we're going to Sierra Leone. It's not an environment of scarcity.
Yeah.
We're environment we're getting in Sierra Leone is an environment of abundance. We need for begin to develop that sense of abundance. That everything we are blessed with, everything. And sometimes some things in the world we chase, we actually don't need for chase them at all. Sometimes we can find out, say, for leave no one at me hot, for leaving at me hot, just me a bully me poto hot a day. You will find out, say, probably I get more peace, I get freedom, probably day, than if I go live inside big cement, also we get fence all around, which I every day I even figure out I get for pay the rent.
I been don't tell you say when me they go back salon a
And
village and they go sit down. I been don't
so
tell you that. You know
so so we get for beginning rethink. We get for being rethink we belief system. Do we really believe say that we'll build a people go inside the na the yeah na the thing? Is that it? Or what is it that we look? So what is it what they look for? We get for really rethink everything. And all of this rethinking also means the way we would live right now. How well this way we would live? This way, it is save we environment, it is help we environment be any better. Today, ten be the way you go up some small bush, you go see yuba, you go see monkey, you go see different. Today we see them.
Yeah.
Where you go down na Kokulbe, ten be the way you go catch crab, you go see the. Would they see all of that today?
No.
It means we get for question. What in at this kind of belief system we don't get now, we call civilization right now. But then our topic we will get for look at the next time, because we'll get for question within a civilization, because all that na part of culture. We will look down the culture in relation to being civilized. We'll look down the way we come on the next topic. Today, we don't deal with just looking at belief as you seed where you sow and how it get for grow up as a tree for make it bear fruits for we and so on. But the question is, will you get the fruits from this seed we don't plant? Will you get the flowers even?
We go get them. The chief go take for grow no more.
Right. So, but the soil, actually the soil fertile. But we must for ask ourselves, now the right seed now we don't plant? What if na the wrong belief system now we don't plant where they go so that's earlier?
Correct.
You see, if na the wrong seed now we don't plant, now that soil they wallahi, that seed it no go grow up for benefits we at all.
No.
You see, so Lewis should think about this very well and consider well whose kind seed for plants, which kind of belief system will make we picking them actually get the kind of education we go make them better. We go build a good social and cohesive kind of community. We go make these days the way would they behave to each other inside freedom with the stress and the tension would they build to each other. We have to ask ourselves, whose kind seed we don't go plant? Where the bear this kind of fruits them would the we sour pa we so now na Leone. Whose kind seed that one day? Maybe we need for change that seed day and put the right and proper seed. We go inside, we go bear the kind of fruit, we go sweet for it. What we ask ourselves today, big cherry mango, it grow now na freedom? Mango tick, if we think about it, mango tick na freedom right now. You know the beer fruit.
And how them they call apple tick, they almost be an
yes, the apple tick. Right. Let we think now we for think of we belief system. What would the build we houses them? We concrete parang. We know they plant tick them, we know they plant fruit trees them, we know they plant even medicinal herbs them now we yard them anymore. We get for think. Whose kind seed we need for plants now? In other words, whose kind belief system we need for plant inside this soil? Because the soil rich, the soil abundant, the soil get plenty nutrients, but we need for plant the right type of seed inside it. And I done this specific program they about. Next time, as I say, we'll get for look at another angle again when we come back next time. So now that may just get for say Tona for say whose kind belief system we will need for develop for make we get the kind of fruits them we need for get na Sierra Leone for make the country better. With that I say good night, my family. See you now again in a couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And before they go, I want for remind una say this program now every 2 weeks we they get Mr. Yusuf Jallo for come on board. Maybe we will do one show in December, then after that we go postpone to January. Logi Chancellor Allman enjoying in December. Although me not kafir, but I go enjoy the December with the Christian. Me not kafir, but I sabi God. I want to know that. So I go enjoy December with the Christian them. When fast months come, we all keep fast. So we enjoy the end of Ramadan. And the other thing is, this specific music we are play today, we go use our signature tune for this program specifically. Because it's something about an African uprising. So the message is that we want us to rise up, not in terms of going to fight and kill each other, but mentally. Let we rise up mentally. The Sphinx should rise with the spirit, not with the body. And the spiritual uprising, now the mental uprising, now that we need. If we come together as a people, we work together as a people, we think together as a people, there is no limit to what we can achieve. No limit. With that, I want to say una thank you, una tata, And in 2 weeks' time, we will get Mr. Yusuf Jallo again. On Friday, men me palava met Mr. Imran to they can talk politics. They cause and fed. They come here, they all say, thank you. Good night.
Thank you.